Alright, so let's go ahead and do the countertop, and I'm just going to use from the same manufacturer this chroma edge. If you look at it, let's take a look at the install. It comes in 24 inches, but it needs support kind of on each side, and that picture we just looked at showed some cantilever, but there's not a lot of it, total information on how far can you cantilever this guy off. And so we'll just kind of work with it. It's an inch deep, so that we can work with. But so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to think about the fact that probably that is not going to cantilever all the way out there. Right now, what's the distance of this guy? Let's say from there to there is 2 feet, right? So that's my 2 feet. Maybe this guy slides back a little bit, you know. I'm just going to hide this right now. And maybe it slides back a little bit and gives a little bit more overhang there. Maybe we have, you know, some supports that come out and then stop here, and there's a little back off. Maybe it can go, let's say it can go, see if it's 2 feet, let's say it can overhang a foot, right? So if it's overhanging a foot, you know, we need to push it back like 4 inches or something like that. So let's say we needed a support that came along on the top here, and if this is the top of the piece, I'm just going to draw right now, go to my annotate and draw a rectangle, a region, you know, from here to here. That's an inch thick, right? Because that's the thickness of the, and 2 feet, and just hit check. So I have kind of an idea, and maybe I put that sort of gray, solid gray on that one too, so I kind of have an idea of how thick and where that guy is. And then I just kind of come in here and move it around. So again, you're just kind of playing with, you know, where this guy is. So if I move it from here to here, let's move it from here to here, and then I'll move this guy, let's move it 1 foot, right? So that's a foot overhang, so you get a 12-inch overhang. Let's go ahead and say, let's do 4 more inches. And let's say that's the kind of overhang we want. But it's not going to be able to be supported just by this little guy. So what we want to do is we want this guy to be at this height up here. So I'll move him up there. And that's the placement. Now I'm just going to hide this because I don't really need it anymore. And now what I need to do is somehow get something underneath this that supports it, right? That will support it. So you can think about how you might do that. Maybe it's a simple wooden piece that comes up, you know, and gets cut and attached here, you know, gets blocked in. So you get little blocked in pieces. You could also create, let's go ahead, there's bunches of ways to do this. So you just kind of have to make it up, and then everybody's going to give you a different option. So if I go to component here, and let's just go back up and let's pick that nominal 2x6. And if I plunk that guy down, right, and I plunk that guy down over here, and maybe I take this, this, and this, and I move that guy down, and then I move this guy down from there to there, and I create like a little box beam up here. So I've got some serious support up here that's continuous. And then I just kind of come in and I'm like, all right, well now I need to attach to this some brackets. And maybe you think, okay, well maybe I can find some brackets, you know, that will work. And let me move this down, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to maybe put a piece of plywood, you know, under here so it can be supported by it. So I'll go to my component, and we'll go get that plywood section, 3/4 of an inch, and we kind of draw this guy out to a certain amount. You know, ugh, it's so ugly. That, do I have another one? I just have the V one, right? I wish I had a different fill for that, but anyway, we'll leave it. And so that guy gets there, and then maybe there's some kind of bracket you're thinking of. So you just draw this guy in, and I go to detail line, and there's some bracket that comes out and does something like that and holds this guy on, right? Somehow. Maybe it's even flush, or maybe it ends sooner, right? Like it comes back and sits, you know, back here somewhere, and it ends sooner. And then maybe I think, well, if I have a 2x4 every 16 inches, I can attach this to the inside of those 2x4s and bolt it in. So I don't even really need these guys. So you're kind of going through and thinking this thing out. I'll pull this guy up to here, right, and pull this guy all the way up to here. And maybe I do at least want a double plate, right, so I get a little bit more stiffness up here. And then that guy gets connected to that guy and comes out and supports this plywood. All right, let me change that from hidden to a thin line. All right, so you have some kind of support there. And then you got to think about, all right, well, you don't really want people seeing the edge of that, right? So maybe you talk to the manufacturer and you can pull that out, and that's your maximum overhang. And then what you do is you come in and you put some kind of finish right here, some kind of little finish piece. So I don't know what that is. Maybe it's another piece of this, or it's just a piece of wood or whatever, but I'll just come in and create a region again, do a little rectangle, and you just face that with something, right, that maybe comes down a little bit lower, and check, right? And then you also have something down here that comes in and faces this guy. So if I come in and do another region, you know, from here to here to here, and again I'm doing this kind of quickly, you know, and this goes along the bottom and finishes that off. All right, let's move that up a little bit, and I'm being like really, let's make this 3/8. It's 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so there we go. So that's 3/8 of an inch, and then for right now, maybe all of these just get turned to that gray. So you're just not sure what that is yet. And then there's another, probably just copy this guy over here, from there to there, right? And then if I edit that boundary, I can pull that guy up to there and trim that out. Check, right? And hopefully that'll work. And then maybe you have like a coat rack or something like that, and then the lights for this guy go here, and then you find out, oh, you can't have this centerpiece with these lights in here because it'll interfere with the smooth transmission, so you delete that. And now you're starting to get somewhere, right? Like you're starting to get to the point where you know a little bit of what this guy is going to be built of, right, and built out of. And then probably in the end what's going to happen is you're going to have some casework here, right? I don't know if they have casework, you know, so a cabinet or something that'll also help with the stiffness. This can be connected to the cabinet, and that cabinet will create also a way for that to be connected. So this is just an example, right, of what you might do. But it's sort of the way you would think about it. So if I were to see this, I would say, ooh, I'd be scared of that because that's going to get hit and broken. Maybe it needs to be up higher, and then you have like a little seat, you know, a little footrest or something there. You put a coat hook in. Is that reach correct? Like, where does the bar stool sit? All those other things start to come into it. But this is kind of the first stab at something, okay?